So today we are actually talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. I guess that's probably not a surprising thing for you if you already subscribed to the channel, but if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, we have been covering the Nintendo Switch 2 every single day. There has been a brand new video regarding the Switch 2 on this channel. Sometimes there's even been double uploads. So if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Would greatly appreciate it. Let's get over to the main topic of the video. You're clicking on this video to find out what the confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 games are. And great news for you. In this video, we're going to be going over every confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 game from a first-party perspective and even a third-party perspective. Now, this was the best information I could find, so I think it's the most up-to-date that I can find, but obviously there's going to be games confirmed probably every day leading up to the Switch 2, that there's a Switch 2 version out there. So this is probably going to be inaccurate, probably later this week when you watch this video, but it still is the full list of games that gives you an idea of what's coming to the Switch 2. And eventually I will be doing a ultimate buying guide on the games you should be picking up on launch day, because I do know what's coming out on launch day with the accessories and games, and we'll do a video where I suggest the things you should be buying. Subscribe for that if you want to see that. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk over the confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 games. Obviously, we know about Mario Kart World, and it's going to be Nintendo's launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. For me, I am very excited for Mario Kart World. To me, it's the dream Mario Kart game that I have always wanted as a kid, and we are going to learn more information about this game on, I think it's April 18th when the Nintendo Direct happens for this game. I think this game is going to be absolutely incredible. I have high expectations. Hopefully Nintendo delivers it for me, especially since they're charging $80 for said game. They can deliver expectations, right? Next up on the list is probably the most controversial one, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It is a launch title as a digital-only release. That is essentially a $10 manual. Can't believe Nintendo's charging that, but it is what it is. Got more first-party titles for you. We have Drag and Drive. This is Nintendo's title that is going to really utilize the mouse feature onto the Joy-Cons. I'm curious to see how this game is going to be, because Nintendo has said that there is a lot more to this game than what they've shown off. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. Probably within a next Direct or something, we'll see something for it. It's coming out in the summer, so I think it's going to be coming out very, very soon within the Nintendo Switch 2 library of games. It's probably going to come out around that July-August period. I'm excited to see what this is, and if this is going to be a big new IP for Nintendo. We also got the announcement of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. This is a game that kind of came unexpectedly. I wasn't sure if Nintendo and Koei Tecmo was going to do another crossover. The Dynasty Warriors X Nintendo has always done really well, but there's just so much opportunity for other things than just Zelda, so it's just surprising that they continue doing Zelda. Like Xenoblade Warriors, I think that's the move, but it's coming out this year. And then we have Duskbloods, which is a From Software game that is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm curious to see if Nintendo paid for the exclusive rights of this game, or if From Software was just like, hey, let's develop something for the Switch 2. Since we can't get a Bloodborne sequel, let's make an unofficial Bloodborne sequel for the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm curious to see what happened with that. We also have Kirby Airriders. That's going to be a very big deal for people once we see gameplay for it. That was definitely one I was not expecting for the Switch 2, let alone for this year. We have Donkey Kong Bananza, I think is what it's called. That is such a weird title. Not a fan of the title, if I'm being honest, but this is the brand new 3D Donkey Kong game. One that also came out of nowhere. We were expecting a 3D Mario title. I know at one point we had speculated that a 3D Donkey Kong had been on the way, but I think a lot of us were thinking that was going to be like a Switch 1 title, and then it never happened, so we just moved on to the next 3D Mario game. And Nintendo was like, no, 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 no. You're getting a 3D Donkey Kong game, which is going to be Nintendo's next big title after Mario Kart World Tour. World Tour, it's called World. I keep wanting to call it World Tour. Isn't that the mobile game? Either way, this is a big deal for many people. I think Donkey Kong looks really good. It might be a hot take for my editor. My editor is not a fan of the new Donkey Kong, but I'm excited to see what this is and how it's going to be, because I think there's a lot of mysteries with this game that we don't know about yet. And then Konami is working on this game that I believe is a Switch 2 exclusive. It's called Survival Kids. I'll be honest, it looks kind of boring to me. I think it was announced during the presentation and we saw the game like twice because of all the Nintendo issues with the live stream. It was kind of weird. I don't know, maybe I should give it another try because it was announced at a bad time with all the issues, but overall looked like Animal Crossing with like weird game mechanics like at home. Like, it looked horrible, and I think it comes out on launch day. I don't know if this counts as a game because it's like an add-on to the service, but we are getting the Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube classics, which will be Soul Calibur, Wind Waker, and F-Zero. I don't know if we can really count that because that's more like service, but I'm putting it in here just to have more games on there. You're getting that at least. We have Super Mario Party Jamboree coming out with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Still think it's weird that that got a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I think a lot of these titles could have just been free updates. We didn't really want extra content. I think people just wanted enhanced gameplay to where it ran better. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition's coming, and that one I'm actually excited to see and how it's going to play on the Switch 2. Obviously, Breath of the Wild had some spots that it didn't run very well, and the fact that it's going to be on Switch 2 and it's getting a big update does excite me. So is Tears of the Kingdom. That is also another one that definitely had some issues. That's going to be exciting to see those issues not be an issue on Nintendo Switch 2. I think that is probably the best use of Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. It's just crazy that we have to pay for it, but it is what it is. This one is also stupid. There is no one that asked for this, but we're still gonna talk about it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, but it's getting extra game content. Like, they're putting a whole new, brand new, basically DLC, but they're gonna act like it's like a new story thing to pay for Switch 2. It's ridiculous. No one asked for this, but they're making Kirby DLC instead of making a new Kirby 3D game. That would have been the thing that made the most sense to me. It's a free update, but no, Nintendo wants to charge $20 and get a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Kirby with all this extra gameplay mechanic. Like, I promise you, there was no one in their bed being like, oh man, DLC. Like, as they're going to sleep, there was no one dreaming of that. No one asked for that. But Nintendo always does the things that no one asked for, I guess. This one is a little bit exciting because this game looks like it was meant for the Switch 2. Meteoroid Prime 4 is confirmed to be getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition day one with the Switch 1, and it's gonna have mouse controls, and on top of that, 120 frames per second mode, dude. That is going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see how that works. Mouse controls, that is gonna be like the perfect game for mouse controls. Not really sure why they hyped this one up because it's, knowing Game Freak, it's just not gonna look much better. But Pokemon Legends ZA is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I bet it's just going to maybe run an extra frame better than it did on Switch 1. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess it's cool it's happening, but at the same time, I just have so low expectations for Pokemon games nowadays. It's crazy to see the Pokemon fell off, and I know there's gonna be people in the comments that are gonna be like, Max, Pokemon's so good, you don't understand. You guys are just coping with your games, bro. I mean, have you seen y'all's games? Bro, Pokemon Legends EA hopefully is a good game. I want it to be good. Please realize, I want these games to be good. I have been a diehard Pokemon fan back in the day. Like, that was my favorite thing. And it's so disappointing to see what it's become now. So if y'all are out here defending the game, y'all are just coping. It's not my fault y'all games suck. That's all I'm saying. Civilization 7's getting a Switch 2 edition, which is probably a pretty big deal because I bet that game looks absolutely horrible on Switch 1. I'm just guessing. I've never played those games on Switch, but I know for whatever reason they're always on the Switch. And I think Civilization 7 never came to PS4 or Xbox One, but it came to Switch. So I can only imagine that it looks really, really bad. Stories of Seasons. I have never played this, and I will never play it, most likely. But it's happening if you care about it. The new Rune Factory game will be on there. Yeah, Rune Factory. The weird Pac-Man game, Shadow Labyrinth. I don't know. This is a weird game, man. I don't understand what Bandai is trying to do with this. Next Level Pac-Man. I don't know. I don't know what the move is with this, but it's getting a Switch 2 edition. So Tamagotchi Plaza is coming to the Switch. It's getting a Switch 2 edition. I think it's also coming to Switch 1. I expect the Switch 2 edition is going to be the move because looking at how it looked on Switch 1, that game is probably going to run horrible on Switch 1, so we'll see, of course. All right, let's jump into a bunch of third-party games. Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer. Any Ridge Racer fans, y'all are gonna go crazy over that one. We got Best Tario. I think that's what it's. I don't know. I've never heard of this, but I'm sure someone's gonna go crazy over that game. It's coming to the Switch too. Fun times await for you Bestario fans. Borderlands 4 is coming to the Switch too. Now I'm curious to see if this is going to come out the same day as the other platforms. If they can pull that off, Gearbox will probably be pretty cool for that. But knowing Nintendo's history with third-party games, it's probably gonna come out later. But if they can pull that off, that'll be pretty cool. But I don't know why I care, because like Borderlands, I don't know if I care about it like I used to, so. It's coming to Switch though. Bravely Default 1 is getting a remaster, which I kind of thought was going to happen, but a long time ago on Switch 1, and it never happened. But fear not, the Switch 2 is getting it. I'm surprised it's a Switch 2 exclusive is what it looks like. I would have thought it would have came to Switch 1, because it doesn't look the greatest if I'm being honest, but it's coming to Switch 2. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. I am very excited about this. Especially because I have always liked Cyberpunk. I was a fan of it before these fake fans came out after the Netflix show and all these like haters that was hating on the game, and then they were like, oh, it's actually a good game after all. I strongly feel like the hate of that game was exaggerated. People were going out of their way to make as much glitches happening. That's a hot take, I know, but that's how I feel because my experience of playing the game was not like anybody else's, and I was on the launch day for that game. However, I'm pumped for it because I did not play the DLC, and the DLC will be on the cartridge. The whole game will be on cartridge. And this game looks absolutely beautiful on Switch 2. I can't believe this game is on Switch 2. I'm excited to replay Cyberpunk because I know they added so much content, like crazy updates to the game, because people were complaining, which the other complaints about certain things not being there is fair. I just think from a glitch standpoint, I don't feel like it was as bad as what people made it out to be, but I can understand why people were complaining about the gameplay. That makes perfectly sense. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be, and I can't wait to pick it up on launch day, which is absolutely crazy. The Daemon X Machina game will be coming to Switch 2, the sequel. I wonder if Nintendo is publishing this, because I know Daemon X Machina later came to all platforms, or at least PlayStation. So it's interesting to see what happens with this series, because I thought this was going to be a dead series on arrival, but it's actually becoming a franchise, it looks like. So to the Daemon X Machina fans, you're getting another game. Deltarune Chapters 1 through 4 is coming to the Switch 2. I still have not played Deltarune, so I don't know if I should be excited about this, but Undertale was great. I guess I should play Deltarune, but I haven't played it. Sans is in that game, right? FIFA is coming to the Switch 2. Now, I think this will actually be like the good FIFA, not the legacy editions that the Switch has been getting since the release. EA hasn't confirmed, but it's expected to be this way considering that the Switch 2 is more powerful than the Switch 1. But this is also EA that we're talking about, so they could very well still do a legacy edition and not put the money to making a Switch 2 edition. Elden Ring is going to be on the Switch 2. Now this one I'm very interested to see how it is going to be on Switch 2, because it was rumored that this was one of the games that Nintendo heavily promoted to their investors with how powerful the Switch 2 really was. So I'm curious to see what this is going to be like, if it truly is just a masterpiece on Switch 2. I'll probably get the game because I want to give Elden Ring a shot, I guess. And it's Switch 2, I'm going to do a video on it. So yeah, I'll pick it up and finally play the game. It also, from my understanding, has the DLC, if anybody was questioning that. Enter the Gungeon 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. I know that is a very big deal for a lot of people, so glad to see that happening. I still need to play the first one. Fast Fusion is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. I know a lot of y'all have been asking for F-Zero. This is probably the closest thing you're going to get to it, which of course you are getting F-Zero GX on the Switch if you're a Switch Online member. But yeah, this is the closest thing to F-Zero. It was heavily inspired by F-Zero. If you guys don't know the history surrounding this game, it was on the Wii, then they made a Wii U version, then they brought that Wii U version to the Switch, and then this Fast Fusion is actually a brand new game. So there hasn't been a brand new game in this series since the Wii U. So I am actually pretty pumped about this, and Excited to see what happens with this series. Probably surprised you, Coleman, that I know so much about that series. I just have a feeling, I might be wrong, but I have a feeling you're gonna be like, wow, I'm surprised Max knew about that. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to the Switch 2. This is another one that Nintendo showed off to investors. So I'm curious to see how this game is, because I'm expecting the resolution and frame rate to be interesting for this game. But we'll see. I'm excited for it. I am very interested to see how this game is going to work on Switch 2 and how the future entries come to Switch 2, because I assume more of at least the whole trilogy will come to Switch 2, I assume. Not a shocker, but Fortnite's coming to Switch 2. It's gonna be interesting because the Switch 1 of that was rough, I'll be honest. I used to play Fortnite on the Switch, very rough. So that's probably gonna be really nice for Switch players. We have Fur Squadron Phoenix. Gonna be honest, this is the first time I've heard of this game, but apparently it's a Star Fox-like Fur Squadron game. That is a sequel that came out in 2023. Might be something I look into, because like Star Fox is a series that has so much potential that always ends up not doing well, because Miyamoto always wants to go back to Star Fox 64 for some reason. And Ubisoft, even though Starlink was not a Star Fox game, the Star Fox content that was in there and the story that they had with Star Fox was nice. It felt very Star Fox-y in today's time. So that team should work on a Star Fox game. But either way, maybe one day we'll get a good Star Fox game, but I think we've been saying that since the GameCube. Good Night Universe, the next game from the developer of the acclaimed Before Your Eyes. Cast as a baby developing psychic powers. Never heard of this game, but it's coming to the Switch 2. The Hitman games are coming to the Switch 2. I believe it is a collection of the first 3 games, but it's like a remake of it. I think it's actually coming day 1. I might be wrong, but yeah, that's interesting. Because I know those were not on the Switch. I think like the old like PS2 Hitman was on Switch. So it's cool to have the actual Hitman. Actually, no, we did have the cloud version on the Switch, but we get the actual game, so that's cool. Hogwarts Legacy is coming to Switch 2. I'm curious to see how this one's gonna look, because honestly, this one looked the roughest out of every third-party game I saw from the presentation. And it might just be live stream footage. I'm hoping that's the case. But it looked better than Switch 1. But Hogwarts Legacy didn't look what I thought it would look on Switch 2. I think I read that there's going to be mouse controls for that game. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to work. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope the effort was put into the Switch 2 edition, because from what I saw, it did not look like the level of effort that these other games was given. Hollow Knight Silksong. I feel like this was a given, but it's coming this year. We actually have that, so that's nice. You know what? I'm not even going to attempt this. Capcom's anime game is coming to the Switch 2. Yeah, get excited. Anime fans, you're getting a game for the Switch 2. Day 1, Madden NFL is coming to the Switch 2. This is the first time Madden has been back on a Nintendo platform since the Wii U. And if I remember correctly, the Wii U only had like 1 Madden. And I think the Wii Madden games were not that great. So this is like the first time you're getting an actual Madden game since the GameCube. Like a good, well, actually, I don't think the Madden games are good apparently, but you know what I mean. The actual legitimate Madden game is coming to a Nintendo platform since the GameCube. So I know we have football fans in here, so you might be excited for that. I don't know. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This one I'm excited for. It's obviously Marvel's response to like the Streets of Rage, beat 'em up, arcade style games. I'm just surprised it's not an X-Men game, because I would have thought Marvel would have wanted to make another X-Men arcade beat 'em up, since that's kind of where the Marvel beat 'em ups are known for, is the X-Men, and this is just full on Marvel without the whole Marvel roster. I think that was a weird decision. I guess they're hoping with having more characters it sells better than just the X-Men, but I think it would have been cool if it was a brand new X-Men game. NBA 2K. I don't know what number we're at for 2K, but it's coming to the Switch. Get excited. The Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. I'm just gonna call it Anime's Ambition Awakening the Complete Edition. No sleep for Kamaya Date from AI. Oh, it's that AI game. It's not actually AI, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's coming to the Switch 2. Professor Layton's new game is coming to the Switch 2. I believe this is the return to the series since Nintendo 3DS, so that's very exciting, because I believe the developers, Level 5, originally shut down and now they're back. Project 007, or is it Project 77? I've never seen the GoldenEye movies, or James Bond. I know that's what it is. The Hitman developers are working on it. It's coming to the Switch too. Exciting times, I guess. Shimigami. Oh, had a nightmare. I thought I was about to talk about Shimigami Tensei. So, Shimigami... Oh, God, it's not a nightmare. It's reality. They're bringing the mystery of the Soulless Army to Switch 2. It's also coming to Switch 1. Sonic X Shadow Generations. I hope this is a free update because it actually ran really well on Switch 1, so I don't really know what more they can do. I guess resolution, is what we're getting. Star Wars Outlaws is coming to Switch 2. However, I don't know why they're putting this because I believe it was a failure. And I think it only works on online servers, so I feel like this game's gonna shut down at some point. I don't know, I'm curious to see how it runs on Switch 2 though. That should be very interesting. Street Fighter 6 is coming to the Switch 2. This one threw me off. I wasn't expecting this, but it's coming and it looks really good on Switch 2. This will definitely be a day one buy for me. Curious to see what this means for future third-party games because this is going to be incredible seeing a game like Street Fighter 6. Split Fiction is also coming to the Switch 2 day one. Really curious to see how this one's going to look on Switch 2 with the type of game that it is. I'm curious how the hardware holds up to it because if you play the game, you will know that the type of hardware that you have is very important for a game like that. So I am very curious to see how that game is, especially towards the last level. I want to see how the Switch 2's power handles that. Either way, I'm excited and will pick that up because that is a phenomenal game and Joseph Fares deserves whatever he wants. We have Scythe Beasts. It's an RPG game coming to the Switch 2. Reanimal. Don't even know what this is, but it's coming to the Switch 2, so that's exciting. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. This will probably look really nice on Switch 2. I think it also is coming to Switch 1. Either way, you're getting a Tony Hawk game. It looks like it's gonna come out with all the other platforms on day one, so that's pretty cool. Wild Hearts S is coming to the Switch 2, which I believe is the original Wild Hearts that Nintendo did not get, but it's like a Switch 2 edition, so it's like Nintendo enhanced, so it probably runs and looks really good for Switch 2. WWE 2K is coming to the Switch 2. Hopefully it's better than 2K18. Was that the one that came to Switch? That's considered one of the worst games of all time. I don't even know why they approved that game to come out on Switch because that literally was a scam, but it's coming to Switch 2 and yeah, it's kind of funny. I wish they would have made the joke that it's better than what we saw on Switch 1. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is coming to the Switch 2. And looking at the comments that they said when the game was revealed, it kind of to me implies that we're getting the rest of the series on the Switch 2. But I could be wrong, but I think it's going to gradually come out. So it's going to be exciting to see that. As I know those are games that people have really wanted to be on Nintendo platforms for a very long time. And then the last one, which is funny enough, number 64 on the list. And fun fact, this was actually the first revealed Nintendo Switch 2 game before it was officially called Nintendo Switch 2. That is Yooka-Laylee Replay. That is the first game that was ever announced for the Nintendo Switch 2. If you go back to the post, when the game was announced, all they said was Nintendo. They couldn't say what system. And then it was found out that it was the Switch 2. So yeah, I don't really know why they're remaking this game, if I'm being honest, but it's happening. And it does look good, but again, this game just came out like in 2017. I think there was a lot of issues with it, so I guess that's why, but it's kind of weird. I think it just makes sense to fix those issues, but I'm not a game developer, so I don't know what I'm talking about here. Guys, those are all the confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 games as of right now. Let me know, which ones are you picking up? For me, you know, Mario Kart, Cyberpunk, Street Fighter, Split Fiction, those titles are the ones that are really appealing to me right now. And then all these big third-party games like Elden Ring, Final Fantasy, those are coming out later this year. Very excited to see how those look on Switch 2. But let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys' thoughts on it. Is there a game that you're really hoping comes to the Switch 2, whether it's first party or third party? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Discord server, become a Monado Marine. $5 a month helps out the channel tremendously, as all that money is going towards our Nintendo New York City trip next month, where we're filming every day at the line. It's gonna be great. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.